access level has recently increased. Excellent. Incoming message.
Welcome, agents, to episode 46 of Behind the Scanner. Your hosts for tonight are Andrew Krug from Virginia, Jorge Pedrero from Mexico City, and I'm Kelly Colton from Chicago. Our special guests tonight are Roxie Ballard from Wilmington, North Carolina, and Pedro Owsik from Westchester, Philadelphia. Welcome to the show. The Q&A tool is enabled for tonight's broadcast. Submit your questions throughout the show, and we'll ask as many as time allows. If you know someone who would make a great guest, submit their information to us at bit.ly/BTS_guest. Finally, you can watch past episodes and subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/behindthescanner. And now, it's time for Behind the Scanner.
Wow. Oh, she timed that perfectly for doing it live. That was impressive.
Yeah. I think that well, good evening, agents. Welcome to tonight's episode. It's the episode 46 of Behind the Scanner. It's amazing, and I have my dog, as always, saying hello. So he's practicing his English too. So, well, sorry for that. So, our first guest is Roxy, aka Agent Sally Girl from Wilmington, North Carolina. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Roxy. It's finally good to, I guess, see you in the video flesh, as it were, perhaps.
Yes,
So,
finally.
we've chatted a while, and yeah, this is cool. Are you coming up to Washington, D.C. for the anomaly? That's the question I really have.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm so excited.
All right, we'll see you then. May 30th, in case anybody wants to come. There's a little bit of an anomaly going on in Washington, D.C. But enough about that. Let's dive right into the show. Something extremely interesting. I have to admit, you're pretty much the first person I've ever met, the only person I've ever met who is a world champion clogger. So tell us about that. How does one start clogging and rise to the ranks of a world champion?
Well, first you have to run away from your ballerina class. So I've been clogging for 33 years. It has given me a full scholarship to college. I've been on tour to Germany, Italy, and Austria. I love it. It is the best exercise ever.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, we have actually won world champion every single year for the past 4 years straight. And we do 3 different organizations, and we're actually Adult Team of the Year in all 3 of those, which is really, really amazing. I love it. I do workshops, we do competitions, we put on shows. I just got word we might be performing for the NASCAR race in Richmond, Virginia in 2 weeks, so you might see me there. But we do all kinds of things, and it's so much fun.
So when you say we, you have like there's a team, obviously, I assume.
Yes, we actually dance on a blog. We get together once a month. We come from all over the world. We have one person in Italy. We have someone that drives all the way from Florida once a month. And then we have South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. But we put everything on a blog. We practice videos on a blog. And then we bring it all together once a month. I have to drive 6 hours away just to go to practice. And it is so worth it.
That is awesome. That sounds like a lot of exercise. Do you do anything else that you're using to stay fit, or are you using your Ingress walks to be your main exercise other than clogging?
But between Ingress and clogging, I don't have any time for anything else. I do have a real job though, but I dance one weekend, I work one weekend, and then the next weekend's Ingress. So I never have a weekend that I don't have anything that I'm not doing.
Well, Roxy, I love what you do for a living. You own a vintage toy store. How did you start your business, and what is your most favorite toy? You have to pick one.
Yes, I actually, I've been collecting toys my entire life. It's mostly been between just from Disney memorabilia, and then I got into Star Wars about 10 years ago. I really, really love Star Wars, and I bought a vintage toy store back in 2012, basically just action figures. There's a few things in there that kind of was away from action figures, like Magic of the Gathering. Never heard of it until I bought the toy store, but now I know a lot about it. But it's definitely opened my eyes for having my own business. That's what I wanted to try to do. It's not my full-time job. I actually manage 420 facility apartment complex during the week, and then my toy store is on the side.
Okay.
Oh, and R2D2. He's my favorite.
So how does one just decide they want to buy a vintage toy store? Is there like a for sale sign out front, and you're like, hey, I want that?
Well, he was trying to get rid of it. I was already collecting Star Wars stuff anyway, and so he had a comic book store, and he had sold all his comic books and threw all the toys into a storage shed. And when he said that he only wanted like $1,500 for it, I jumped on it. I paid triple back from these toys. So I've actually collected more toys from selling online. So it's been a work in progress. I like my toys.
Well, very cool. So we've got to do. We used to do word association back in the day on the show, but I think we're going to change it up a bit and do some rapid fire vintage toy questions if you're up for it.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so first question I have is, has anyone brought you a vinyl cape Jawa, or do you have one?
I did have one, actually.
Whoa, really?
Unpunched.
Whoa!
So unpunched, I did have one. That was pretty awesome. It was actually part of a collection that I had with a friend. So he sold that. I'm not sure what he sold it for. I can't remember what it went for, but it went fast. I mean, it just had bids like crazy.
Yeah, I think so. For everybody watching, that's like the most valuable vintage Star Wars toy is the vinyl cape Jawa. I think last time I saw it was like, I don't know, somewhere around $18,000-$20,000 or something like that. So, well, you do mostly action figures, but we gotta ask, Raggedy Ann or Andy?
Ann, girl. I like Ann.
We'll take that. We will accept it. My name being Andrew, Andy would also have been an acceptable answer as well.
Yes.
How many classic Simon moves can you get right in a row?
I don't know. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with glyphs, so I think Simon might have helped me out back in the day. So I can remember pretty good with that. So I would say maybe 8 or 9.
That's pretty good. There's definitely a whole, I sucked at Simon and I suck at glyphs, so I can see the relation. Yeah. All right, electric vibrating football table, cool or annoying?
I would say cool. Any time the game's cool. I'll Call of Duty. I'll shoot pool. I'll play darts. I do anything. I'm so competitive. I've got to be in there, and I've got to win.
I like it. All right, we talked about Magic the Gathering, but a little bit different Magic. Do you own a full hat of Magic? Or what is it called? Hat full of Magic. I'm sorry. You know what that is?
Yes, I do. I don't own one, though. I wish I did. Those sets are actually really cool. I would definitely like to have one of those.
That's the original Magic set. Yeah, I had one when I was a kid, back in like 19 something like that. So lastly, not really a toy question, but Superman versus Batman, will it be a good movie, yes or no?
I think it will be a good movie. Yes, I am a huge Batman fan. I love Batman. I have Batman toys. I have Batman sunglasses. I have Batman shirts. I'm definitely all for Batman. I like Superman too,
Yay.
but
Excellent. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Well, let me pause the conversation for just a moment. For everyone watching, remember you can submit questions for our guests. If you're watching using YouTube, you have to click the banner at the top of the video. And I think, Andrew, you've got that on your screen there. It says, be part of the conversation. And then from there, you just click the square grid menu icon in the upper right-hand corner and select Q&A. It's not too hard, right?
Shouldn't be.
It's so easy, and Andrew can do it, right?
Even I can do
it. So we're all here because we all love Ingress. I'm kind of curious about your first cross-faction field art. Tell us a little bit about that and what made it special that it even made it into the weekly e-newsletter.
That was such a fun op, and it was actually only me and one other resistance agent. He approached me with it, said he had the links ready to go and the fields, and we were going to try to do 16 layers. It ended up being 15, and we called it the Teal Onion, and it was in the middle of an ice storm not this past January, but the January before that. And we had asked both teams to come out. We had 2 portals in the center of the 15 layers, and we wanted Enlightened to deploy on one and Resistance to deploy on the other to light up the eyes of our Teal Onion. And we asked everyone to let it stay and decay, and it did. But that was so much fun. That's what really got me into wanting to do a lot of cross-faction stuff.
Very cool.
Well, you are really, really into Ingress, and you claim something that I think it's really, really brave. You said that you are not afraid of artifacts. So I want to know, what is your experience with these little bastards, and why do you think that this part of the game is so hated by most of the players?
I think I've actually gotten gray hair from artifacts.
Most of us.
I chased those things around for weeks straight. I know number 18, Swamp Thing. I chased around the whole entire east coast of North Carolina. And then it was so much fun punting Felicia over the water. So that was actually an awesome experience. I think the entire neighborhood heard me scream that night when that link shot. And then, of course, there was La Fonda. So I didn't really play a lot with La Fonda number 9, but they were definitely in North Carolina. So I was watching, had my alarm set for 1 o'clock every single morning, and I was up ready to see the jump. So I was definitely dedicated to the shards. It was a fun game. It's something different, and I think that I like it when Niantic switches it up.
That's brave is one word to describe it. I appreciate the fact there's people like you that play that. Because wow, yeah. Anyway, all right, let's move on. There's other aspects of the game. Anomalies are one of them. I think most people enjoy anomalies, and I know you're a big fan of them. How many anomalies have you actually participated in?
I've only been to 4. I've went to 1 in every series. I would love to do 2, but I always dance on the one weekend that they do Anomaly, and then I get to go to the next one. So I'm actually dancing when Nashville comes around in June, but I will definitely be in DC. Anomalies are the best thing about the game. They are my favorites, love them, and I will go to as many as I can.
So I have to ask 2 other obligatory questions about anomalies. Which was your favorite anomaly? And you know what? Actually, I'm going to save the second one because it looks like somebody submitted it for the Q&A. So I know you're going to be on the edge of your seat, but Out of all the anomalies that you've been to, which anomaly, I guess, site was your favorite that you had the most fun?
I think I'm gonna have to say Shonen. That was my birthday, so I had an absolute blast. I got to spend it doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I had all my friends there with me. So it was definitely fun. I wish it was a little warmer, but that's okay. Beggars can't be choosers, and I loved it. Shonen was awesome.
Very cool. Shonen was a really fun anomaly series, and we've all been having fun, and I understand that you've been doing this as well. Another game that makes up Ingress is the First Saturday event. How have you been involved with the events?
That was my favorite event. I loved First Saturday. That was so much fun. Hands down, the best organized event I have ever done. And we were actually one of the first, November the 1st, for Wilmington, North Carolina. So we didn't have really a clue what we were doing, but we followed the guidelines. We went by them. Everyone got to put faces to names. We all took a picture. It was pouring rain and cold, but we were running around with our little coffee cup logos and smiles and gaining AP. It was an absolute blast. And I've actually, since then, I've helped other people out, too. I've gotten a lot of hangouts from people trying to start their first Saturday, any kind of things that I can help them out with. So I try to give advice. I try to tell them, different things that I've seen. I keep up with a lot of the First Saturdays, and I would like to do another First Saturday here in Wilmington again. It was a blast. Hands down, my favorite.
Well, about 6 months already with First Saturday's events. So I want to ask you, do you think they are a good way to recruiting or encouraging noobs to get deeper into the game, or they have become like just cross-faction events for the regular player that is hungry for AP?
I think it should stay with new players. That's what it was designed for, to get people into the game. I like the fact that our elites come out, or our higher-ups come out, and they, try to get AP. They're trying to get to the next level. But it's really about getting to know our new players, our new agents, putting faces to names, and just hanging out, having a good time. It was like an anomaly without the pressure, and that's what made it so much fun. But it's definitely something I think that should stay along with newer agents, and definitely should stay around, because I love First Saturdays and I love seeing them every month.
I see your shirt is a custom shirt, and one of the things about Ingress is that every day I'm just seeing more and more custom Ingress swag out there. And I know you've got a pretty awesome collection. How many items of swag do you have, and do you have a favorite piece?
Oh, wow. I haven't counted. They started out in a shoebox, and then they moved into a drawer on my coffee table. Now it takes up 2 drawers on the coffee table and both end tables, and I have 2 or 3 boxes in the floor down here. I love swag. Any type of swag I can get my hands on, I am just gimme, gimme, gimme. I love to make swag. I will never go to an anomaly again without having a handful of something. And I learned my lesson for Charleston, so I take everything with me. Orlando, I passed out swag. I tried to pass out as much as I could. My favorite piece, I would have to say, would be my necklace. I wear it constantly. It never leaves me, and I just love it. Also, let's see, I have a capsule, and I love my capsule.
Oh, very
It has a little key inside. So I do love my capsule. I'm going to put patches in that. So send me patches, and I'll put them in my capsule.
Well, when you come to DC, we will give you some of the swag we have. We've got some behind the scanner swag, so
Woohoo!
it is yours. But all right, let's move on to the viewer questions. I'm sure this is going to be your favorite part of the show, because you never know what's going to happen. You ready to answer some of these?
Yes.
All right, so the first one we have is from Rob Trice. I have absolutely no idea if this is a serious question or not, and based on your reaction, it may not be, but speaking of Star Wars, how excited are you about the return of the infamous Agent Sith 138?
Ah! That's how excited I am. Oh, this is Jim Sith.
You'll have to provide a little backstory for us.
Yes, I met him in Terradus, Asheville, and he's the tow truck guy of the mountains, Mountain Man, and he was awesome. We actually had a resistance that came through and killed our 8 farm in Hendersonville, and he was right behind them just deploying in Lincoln, and it was hilarious. But he's good company. He has an awesome personality, and I'm just super stoked that he is back. That made my day. I can't wait to see him.
So based on your reaction, you're kind of lukewarm about the guy, not really sure.
Yeah,
All right. That's how I feel about our next guest too, but we'll get to him in a second. So, all right. The second question is, I wish you guys could see his reaction, is from Curtis M, who I know actually from the Orlando area, and coincidentally enough, his question is about Orlando. What was your favorite part of the Orlando anomaly?
Probably the after party. We all got to let loose. We got to hang out. We got to talk. They had food set up for us there at World of Beer. I wanted to go to the Cross Faction event party afterwards, but I never made it. And then when I did make it, they wouldn't let me in with my book bag. So I was like, I'm going back to World of Beer. So, but it was really fun. The after party, I met so many people. I know a lot of people took pictures of my badge, and I have no clue who they are, but I definitely will find one on Google+.
Oh, and actually, so speaking of swag and the badges, do you make those? Do you have one that you can show?
Yes, I do actually. Yes.
Get that. So people can order those, correct?
Yes, they can order them from me. We actually have the little lanyards that click on the side, and we turn those on, and it lights up. And I do blue and green, but it lights it up there, so you can see.
And so
but you can
it has
pop your little.
Agent.
Mm-hmm.
There
it has
you go.
my
That's what I was
agent
going to
name.
get to.
Has my agent name and light end. You can actually pop out your level and put in your level. It comes with 8 through 16, and you can customize a community that you're in at the bottom. So really cool. I love swag, and I love badges, so I've got them laying everywhere.
So how do people contact you if they want to order one of those? Do you have a website or shop or how?
Usually they just find us. We have a community on Google+. It's called International Ingress Swag Association, and they can find me on there. They can find me on Hangouts. I have a Hangout set up, so usually when someone finds me, I just throw them on in, or they can. We have GroupMe. I have so many different badge rooms. There's one of them they can go in.
Awesome. All right, so the last question is from Joe Thoreau. He wants to know, thank you for your input on the true meaning of First Saturdays. Do you have any tips for pre-setup or rule making that could help facilitate helping new players?
We actually did have a rule where if you were above a certain level, you were not eligible to play, or actually we eligible for the gift, because we did want it to veer towards the new agents. Another thing that I really like, we didn't have this at ours, but I really like seeing the First Saturdays set up where they give a prize to someone who travels the farthest. I really wish I would have thought of that. We had agents that traveled 3 hours or more to come to this First Saturday, and I really, really love them for that. They are awesome, and I think that should be recognized in First Saturdays.
That's awesome. Great answer.
Very cool. Is that it for the viewer questions, Andrew?
You know what? I think that's it. We'll end there.
Well, we do have a BTS tradition around here. For better or worse, we give every guest at the end of their interview 60 seconds to talk about whatever they want, or they can give a shout out to whomever they want. So, Roxy, if you're ready, we're going to start the clock for your 60 seconds. Go ahead.
All right. First and foremost, Wilmington Enlightened. You're my home. You're my family. I love you guys. Without you, we wouldn't be nothing here. And I also have to give a shout out to the Port City Resistance, maybe even the Four Horsemen. So without them, we wouldn't be here either. They're an awesome team. I love our cross-faction events. I love hanging out with them. We all get along really great. My communities, I won't mention any names, but I'll say hello, and I love you. I do want to give a shout out to my Newton area. I travel to Newton a lot for dance, and the community there is amazing. All the places I've been, all the communities I've visited, you know who you are. You'll see me again because I'm coming to dance there again. And I think that's about it. See y'all in DC.
Oh, DC.
Yes, definitely. So, hey, actually, before you go, I do have one question for you. We're not going to end the interview just right here. Selly Girl. How'd you get the name Selly Girl?
Everyone asks that, and they always think it's cell phone. Sometimes I'll play along with it, because why not? I drive a Celica GT. It is my favorite car from Need for Speed. I've been a huge car person my whole life, and I love Celicas. She's actually in the shop right now getting fixed, so fingers crossed, everyone, that she's okay. But I love my Celly, so that's where it came from.
That makes a lot more sense than being into cell phones. I like it.
Well, Sally Girl, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, this is such an honor. Thank you so much for having me. You guys are great. I love the show. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And I will see you in about a month and a half.
Yes, you will.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Roxy.
Thank you.
Well, tonight, the Weekly Truth is on hiatus this week, but I'm told that we can tune in next week and we'll get caught up on everything that's happened for the past 2 weeks. So there's a lot of good information out there. So in the meantime, you can always go to the Operation Essex community and check out what conversations we're having in there.
Sorry about those dings. I was getting the next part of the show set up, and that's the code of the show.
Yeah.
No idea what they are.
Thank you for the bonus code last week for my birthday. I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
I really appreciated all the birthday wishes. Thank you very much for reminding me that I'm getting older. But I hope you all enjoyed the extra passcode. Thank you.
It's like being a fine wine. You just get better with age, right? So, all right, let's not delay. Let's get right down to it. So we're gonna go back to R1. These are highly redeemable magic codes. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. No idea what's in them. You can definitely share it with hundreds, thousands of people. You can share it with Jose's, or his dog can redeem it if he wants as well. Hopefully it'll be something better than a level 1 burster. Last week I think we actually had shields were one of the codes, and bursters I think may have been the second code. So looks like Jorge's typing it in. What do we have this week? Yes, he'll tell us in a second. I should really redeem these beforehand, so I want it to be a surprise. What did we get, my man? What is it?
I don't know. I have my cell phone off, as you all should have, but I'm sharing with my people in all the chats. So
best answer you could have given. That's right. We ask everybody to turn their cell phones off because there's nothing worse than telling about how Ingress has helped you overcome a disease or something, and then all of a sudden in the background you hear or something like that. So, all right, that's it for the code of the show. That's been up there enough. It is gone. There you go.
Oh, and I just turned on my scanner.
Yeah. Can I take some seconds to keep sharing? No. Well, Agent Palabra is our second guest tonight. He's from Westchester, Philadelphia, and in the real world, his family and friends know him as Pedro Owsik. Thanks, man, to taking the time to be with us tonight.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. Andrew, I guess, just decided that I couldn't get away from it, so I might as
You
well
know,
just.
I enjoy the time we have together so much that I continually want to just, be in your presence. It's
Are you going to talk about the kisses or what?
Hey, that was not in
that's
the measurement picture
hey,
from
whatever,
Helios.
Oh,
what
okay.
happens at the anomaly stays at the anomaly. So, you
That's what they
Well,
say.
then you
know.
have then you have to take care of the picture that is rolling on the communities.
I can't do anything about that, man. But
Damn.
let's stop talking about us and let's talk about him. So, what people may not know about you is that you don't get seasick easily because you were in the Navy for 4 years. So, what was that experience like, and what was your MOS in your military job?
It was definitely something that I wouldn't trade for the world. I just got into it randomly one day and decided to join the Navy. I ended up going in completely undesignated. I was a deck seaman for about a year and a half, and then I ended up going to school for aviation ordnance. So I loaded bombs on the planes.
Wow.
Wow, that's how does one just sort of become in the Navy? That seems like a pretty. Didn't you have to sign a piece of paper and commit and all that?
Yeah, that definitely was part of it. But I just decided one day that I didn't want to stay in Westchester all my life. I wanted to go out and see things and have somebody else pay for my college.
You know what? There you go. That was smart. So you were a an AO basically. You were an aviation ordnance AO. That's the MOS, right?
Yep.
Perfect. I know my military stuff. So, all right. Sorry, Kelly.
No, it's okay. So I hear that nowadays you're working on environmentally contaminated sites, which that sounds a little bit dangerous to me. But Andrew tells us that that explains a lot about your personality. So aside of how it sounds, can you explain exactly what it is that you do these days?
Well, a lot of what I do basically revolves around assessing a site. So, if there's an oil spill somewhere, a lot of the sites that I work on are gas stations. So, if the tank that they hold all the gas in, if it leaks, then I have to go out there and do site investigation, and that's basically the gist of a lot of my work. I've also worked on giant oil spills where they've spilled 50,000 gallons of refined gas into an aquifer, and I had to go out and sample people's houses for because they were all on well water, and I had to make sure that that they weren't drinking contaminated water.
Wow, that's very interesting.
I don't know how that relates to my personality.
That's just what Andrew said, but
Drinking
Andrew,
tainted water. You're supposed to test it with chemicals, not actually ingest it. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any truth in the whole? I'm gonna go completely off script now. So sorry. Is there any fracking and the whole controversy about fracking and well water and lighting your faucet water, on fire and all that? Is that real?
Yeah, that is real, but there's a lot that you can't definitively determine anything. So there's a really fine line that a lot of the oil companies are walking, and I mean, I feel like there's definitely a controversy to it, but there are also, I think it's more of a matter of there's a lot of really good people doing legitimate work, and there are just a few bad apples that are generating the majority of the negative publicity.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's probably true for most industries. So, all right. Sorry about this.
Can we keep going with the show, Andrew?
You want me to stay on script? I can try to do that.
Okay, thank you. Man, Pedro, my friend, as the Latin American spice of this show, it is my job to help you to clarify for once and for all some misconceptions that people have about you. Okay? So, ¿hablas español? Do you speak Spanish?
No habla. No.
But your first name is Pedro. That is a very common name in the Spanish language. Why were you named like that? Is your family Hispanic or something?
Actually, no. My father is Filipino, and Pedro is actually his name. So that's where I got it from, and it's stuck.
Okay. But your agent name is Palabra. That sounds to me like a mix of a Spanish word. At least for me, it sounds like that. What does it mean, and how did you come up with it?
The nickname came up. I actually just made up the word. I mixed candelabra with. I think somebody called me Pad back in the day, and I mixed the two of them because on IRC the Nick Pad was taken, so I just ended up lengthening it, I guess, because I'm not into that whole brevity thing.
IRC, wow. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
It really takes me back.
It does, yeah. Now I feel old. Happy birthday to you. All right. Well, now that we know that you don't habla, we should get to your Ingress fame. You are Jorge. Stop changing the script. I'm not going to say that. You are the Ingress report star. Well, at least your shoes are anyway.
You are the Ingress report star.
What is the story behind your shoes in the Ingress report?
After the first Gettysburg build that we did, we ended up getting contacted by Niantic to get video footage, and that day none of us thought to go and take videos. We were all just too busy hacking a whole bunch of portals. So we ended up meeting for another farm the following weekend, and we decided that that a shot of all of our shoes would be appropriate. We were all just standing around in a circle, and that was how my shoes ended up on the Ingress report.
Now, true or false, you can plead the fifth if you don't want to. Have you ever appeared under the influence while on camera for an Ingress interview?
The one time that I was officially interviewed by Niantic, I think I may or may not have had a drink or two, and that may or may not have been the night that I found Joe Philly's hat that the field trip crew gave him. But yeah, they somehow coerced me into signing a release form, and yeah, I'm in one of the Ingress advertisements now.
Was that was not after Helios Baltimore, was it, where we had the whole Bloody Mary stops and everything along the way?
Oh no, that was after Cassandra in DC.
Okay.
Andrew, come on with the outline, man. Damn.
Well, speaking of my dear friend Joe Philly, I don't know if I've met many other agents other than the two of you that have played in more states across the country. So is that a benefit of your job right now?
Well, actually, the first anomaly that I attended was Lake Geneva, and the reason why I ended up driving out 14 hours from Philly was because the week before that, I was out there for work, and I helped build the first Blue 8s in Milwaukee, and I really bonded with the crew out there, and I just decided that that I was just going to come back out. It was a good time.
Cool. We must have crossed paths at Lake Geneva then.
Probably, definitely. I mean, it was there definitely weren't as many people there as there are at the anomalies now.
there were definitely a lot more resistance than there were enlightened at the Lake Geneva anomaly. How many anomalies have you been to?
I can't even count, maybe 8 or 9. I stopped counting a while ago. Just whenever they get close enough, I'll go.
What would you say is your favorite anomaly memory?
Taking the picture with Andrew in Baltimore. Duh.
Um,
I think I was actually wearing a blue poncho too. I got a lot of crap for that. With you and the blue poncho.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Well,
So, seriously, what is your favorite anomaly memory?
What's that? My favorite anomaly memory?
Yeah, you've been to like 9 of them. You've got to have something better than that.
I would probably say winning the Philly anomaly by leaps and bounds. That was a great moment. Knowing after, I guess it was probably the 3rd measurement that we were just destroying everyone, and the fact that we were the reason why we basically bridged the loss, and that was great. I mean, it was good to know that that there was such a strong team. You know, it wasn't just me that coordinated everything. It was a lot of people in Philly and a lot of people outside of Philly too. It's the one thing that I love about the game is just the bond that we've all formed with each other as a team, and you know, we've become a family more than anything else.
That's such a better answer than having a picture with me, man.
It's a close second. Okay, you're a close second.
well, sorry for interrupting your love, man. But for everyone that is watching us right now, remember that you can submit questions for our guest. If you are watching us via YouTube, and you can look at the screen of Andrew, you have to click on the banner at the bottom of the video that says be part of the conversation, then go to the icon, Q&A icon, and that's right, and that's it. You can submit whatever you want. Don't ask for more details of that encounter between Andrew and Pedro, but anything else is okay. So, getting back to the outline, Pedro, do you have a personal record in your stats that really makes you proud? It involves your longest link ever. Can you talk about that for us, please?
Yeah, sure. So I ended up getting contacted on a Saturday afternoon with a shard plan for, I think it was for recursion, actually. And I ended up driving out over the course of that weekend maybe 500 miles to go and get keys and coordinate with other players in the region. And we ended up, myself and 2 other guys, Ben and Adam, we ended up driving out to Cape May at about 10 o'clock on a Monday night, and it's about a 2-hour drive each way. And we ended up going out there, and we tried to get one of the shards from Virginia, and it randomly jumped into the middle of a closed cemetery. So we couldn't do anything with it until the morning, and we had gotten pretty demoralized. And at that point, Nico, if you're watching, hey, sorry, my mom, she couldn't make it tonight. But so Nico basically tells me, you know, hey, shoot the link. You've got this key, and just shoot it. And so I shot a link from Cape May to Bermuda, of all places, and the link ended up staying up for 14 hours until someone from North Jersey came down to Jarvis it, and we ended up successfully moving the shard. Much to my surprise, I was kind of disappointed when I shot this giant link, and I left thinking that that nothing was going to happen of it. but it ended up working out to our advantage. And that's also the story of how I got my recursion badge.
Wow.
It's nice when things kind of work out like that.
Yeah.
So you are not afraid of shards also?
No, why would I be afraid of shards? It's just another part of the game.
So speaking of that, how hard has the Shardifact game become? I mean, there's been multiple versions of it with, I think what was it, 31 or 32 this time around, and the target portal stayed for a month, and everything spawned at once. What is your take on the Shardifact game today as it was in the beginning?
Well, in the beginning, it was definitely much more different in the sense that we started out with 1 hour jumps, and there weren't as many to deal with, so there were a lot less people involved. It's definitely become much more of a coordinated mess, but you just kind of have to deal with it as it comes, adapt and overcome. I think the rules are going to change no matter what you try and anticipate, so just let it happen.
So going back to sort of like the roots of the game, right now a new player can get to level 8 in maybe 3 weeks, and normally these players don't know more than just the basics of the game. Hack, deploy, linking, fielding, and they don't really know what an anomaly or a shard is, or how to get to do a big international field up. How difficult would you say it is to reduce the gap between the noobs and the old wolves? Is it even possible to do that?
Oh, there's definitely it's possible. I will say that there's a lot of newer players, especially with the new badges that have come out. I mean, the Illuminator. I know that there's a couple of greens that live in my town who are nothing but AP shy of, I think, level 15 now, because they have their Illuminator, they've got their Trekker. So I mean, the game has definitely opened itself up. I think that the key to it all is actually going out and becoming a part of the community and engaging the community. That's the strongest asset, and it's the biggest knowledge base that anybody's going to have, because I mean, there's no manual to the game at all. Decode Ingress and Fev Games, they can post as much as they want, but it's nowhere near as effective as going out there and meeting some seasoned player and having them show you the ropes. I think that that's much more of a better tool to use.
Well, that is right. We have new anomalies coming up, a new series, and I had the opportunity to interview you for the English report last year, and when you held an anomaly and you organized that anomaly in your city. So to organize those events, every time we have a new series of anomaly, it's getting harder. Maybe because of the rules and everything, but also because there's a lot of new players. So the communities are bigger, and there are more people willing to travel from city to city or state to state. So what would you what which were how many how oh sorry you have a lot of experience organizing, so can you give some, like, I don't know, 3 tips for the new organizers of the next anomalies?
Yeah, the biggest thing to realize as soon as your city is announced is to organize everything. Don't try and take it all on yourself. You want to make sure that, if you have a fielding team, that you have somebody leading that. If you have somebody doing shirts, then have them dedicate themselves to a single task. You don't want anyone to get burned out, because it's a big event. When we did Philly, there were probably 500 or 600 people that showed up, and when Joe Philly showed up, he said, "Wow, these are actually numbers for a primary site." So you have to be prepared, and you also should really, one of the bigger points is you have to foster really good cross-faction relationships. That's one thing that I probably just take for granted in Philly, is that we have a really good cross-faction, dynamic between the blues and the greens in the city for, about 98% of us. So, I love the city, and I love the communities, both of them, Pear and Pi, because we get along, and we make stuff happen. We did, I guess it wasn't last summer, but the summer before that, we did a cross-faction tailgate at a Phillies game, and it was, everyone just came out and grilled and hung out in the parking lot, and some people went and saw a baseball game, but we were there to drink.
Hey, Pedro, speaking of drinking, I think your internet connection may have become a little drunk. People are saying that your video is going in and out and it's black. Can you do, just real quick, at the very top of your screen, where the mute button is, to the right of that is the turn the camera off button. Can you turn your camera off and then turn it back on again, see if we can get your video back?
How about now?
Your audio seems fine, but your video, well, you've lost your video.
Whenever you are switched, you go to black.
How about this? How about turn your camera off and we'll just have your avatar up there, and there you go. We'll just do the last few questions like this.
Me and my cheesy grin from Joe Philly.
Awesome.
The mystery man. So, speaking of drinking, I think when you were still on camera, maybe you were having a beverage. I'm always curious what people like to order, whether it's beer, wine, coffee, or tea. What's your drink of choice?
I love beer. I was actually drinking a Spencer's, which is the only American Trappist ale, and it's actually really, really good. I went on a unique journey with my girlfriend up to Boston last Labor Day, and she knew about the brewery, and we picked some up and brought it back, and this is the first one that I've opened since then. So.
And what kind of flavor does it have? Hints of coffee.
So we have it's really malty. If you're familiar with a Belgian ale, it's pretty sweet too. I like it. It's not very overpowering. We had some while we were in Boston, and it definitely changes with age. It's much more mellowed out now, and it's delicious.
You are making me thirsty now.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
On Beer Advocate, that beer has got a 90 score, which is outstanding. I guess 100 is the best, so I'll have to check that out. All right, my friend, are you ready to wade into the pool that is the Nicholas Moore questions?
Oh, sure.
He's definitely watching tonight.
Why not?
All right. Well, I told Nick we'd get him on BTS. See, here's the shot. He wants to know, number one, can he have the hat back?
The hat was never his to begin with.
There you go. Easy enough. All right. Zeke Howell would like to know, what IRC servers were you on back in the day?
I was on the Undernet and the FNet, and for a brief period of time, I was on the DALNet. And a few private networks that I probably shouldn't talk about in public.
I think everybody was on the Undernet at one point in time. Exclamation mark MP3 Red Hot Chili Peppers .mp3 get. So anyway, I'm glad you got that. How about a legitimate question from Joe Thoreau? He wants to know, given the shorter time of the, I guess, between anomaly series, do you have any advice on how to organize your local community to help agents that attend from afar with travel, room sharing, parking, bar hours, that sort of stuff?
That kind of question sounds like it should be answered by Joe Nastry, because he is the ultimate coordinator of everything. I'm pretty sure that he has hotel blocks set up right now for DC. Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is to, I guess, reach out to anyone that you know locally, or reach out. I know that there's a big network of resistance folks that know each other from all over the world, and I'm pretty sure that anyone can get in contact with anyone else through that network. And I mean, if anything, you've got a good point of contact in any city. So I mean, really, realistically, the best thing to do would be to try and reach out to your local community to see if they know anyone that's local to where you're going.
It's almost as if you have a big regional network, one might say.
I guess you could you could put it like that. Yeah, it's a network of sorts.
Yeah, all right.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, and what have you.
Zeke actually has a really interesting question. Not that his questions aren't interesting, but I find it fascinating. You mentioned you're in the Navy. He wants to know, what was the most memorable thing you did and the most memorable place you've been to while you're in the Navy?
The most memorable place that I've been to was Benidorm, Spain. We stopped there after being out at sea for, I think, 60 days. It was the first that people get seasick when they first get onto a boat, and if you're on a boat for long enough, you kind of get sea legs. And walking on land, I distinctly remember walking down the pier, and I looked like I was drunk, but I was coming from the boat and not going to the boat. So
nice.
Yeah. The most memorable thing that I've seen when I was in the Navy was we were in the Persian Gulf, and I actually witnessed a Tomahawk missile being fired off of a destroyer, and I saw it fly right by the boat. It was pretty crazy.
Oh.
Are they supposed to fly right by our own boats like that?
I mean, it was parallel, but I mean, it was like 50 feet off of the water surface. It was very interesting. I didn't know that they flew that low.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. That'd be definitely neat to see. All right, we've got some other ones here. How about actually, this is another very interesting one from Joe Thoreau. He would like to know, is there any correlation with your experience with contamination and your interest in Ingress? Did one influence the other, perhaps?
I wouldn't say that they influenced each other, but I will definitely say that I have seen some interesting places because of some of the sites that I've been to. One of the places is actually down in Delaware. It was, or it still is, a chemical manufacturing facility, but I guess when it was first constructed, it was within a neighborhood, and it eventually expanded to the point where they pretty much just took over the neighborhood, and there was one house that was left. And today it's about 100 feet inside of the gate of this giant chemical manufacturing facility, and it's actually a historic landmark. And I would submit it as a portal, but like nobody at that facility would even be remotely interested in playing. But that was the first thing that I thought as soon as I saw the house, because there was a plaque that was right next to it, and I was like, this could totally be a portal. But
it is amazing how Ingress has changed our view of the world, and you're walking down the street, and now you really do notice all the small things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. For example, there is a park that is right next to my apartment complex. Had no idea it has like 60 different types of trees in it that were planted by this guy who was a famous arborist. Definitely wouldn't have known that without Ingress.
Interesting. All right, we got two more quick questions. One is from Nicholas Moore. Where is the Mimosa Pharmacy located?
In my kitchen.
All right. How do I get a prescription to get filled there? What's the ailment?
Not enough cowbell.
All right, fair enough. All right, the last question is from the appropriate name, Dr. Blah. What is your favorite Gary Busey movie?
Point Break, obviously.
Interesting. Okay. We'll accept that. Yeah, judges, we'll accept that. All right, that's all we've got. Let me just double check here in case something came in at the very, very bottom. Zeke would like you to bring the Trappist beer to DC. You just message him on Hangouts, man. There's a couple other conversations that you're feel free to go after the show and respond, or you guys can hit him up after Hangouts. All right.
Yeah, ping me on Hangouts. I'm open too.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Well, man, it's time for you to have your 60 seconds to say whatever you want, whatever you like, sending kisses to all your fans or whatever. So, you have those 60 seconds in 3, 2, 1.
I wanted to give a shout out first and foremost to my entire community. You guys, without your support, I would be nowhere. I would just be driving around, probably bugging Andrew right now and pinging all of his portals. I wanted to say thank you to all of the people in the Resistance that I have met and known and have supported me in a million different ways. I wanted to say happy birthday, Ruth, because it's your birthday. Let's see. And I wanted to thank all of you enlightened folks, because without you, we would have a really boring time playing this game. And that's all I got.
That is true. It does take two.
Well, Pedro, it's been a pleasure to have you tonight with us. Thank you for taking time, and well, hopefully sometime we'll meet in an anomaly, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, it's been a pleasure. I'm sure I will see you at the DC Anomaly. You're more than welcome to stay home if you want that day, and maybe run ops or just go out grocery shopping. I guess that's cool too. Actually, don't go grocery shopping because you have a portal in your grocery store. We learned the other day. All right. No, but seriously, thank you.
Oh yeah, you are quite welcome. I will see you in DC.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, so everyone, thank you for watching us tonight, and see you next week.
Is this where we insert the witty banner?
Insert the witty comment. Yes.
Or you can read the roll-up of Fred.
We're gonna have to up the ante on the picture now. We're gonna have to get one of us like embracing or me giving you a piggyback ride or something like that.
I'm down for that.
I want to hear more about these mimosas.
Yeah, the mimosa form.